Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. If you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe. This channel is called Everything Worship, and at Everything Worship, on Everything Worship, we talk about everything to do with living a life that is pleasing to God, living a life for others, and just living a life that puts God first. And so today I have an interesting topic again. It's so dear to my heart, and I just want to give an example between, what Christ did, and then us as a people, like how do we, as followers of Christ, how do we relate to that? And so, without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah, so a lot of has been said about us being like Christ. You know, the word Christianity means Christ-like. And being a Christian means that we follow the example that Christ gave. When we look in the Bible, everything that God did, or let me put it like this, when Christ came, he was born as a man and he lived on the earth and said all these examples and the ways that we should follow him. Everything that he did was uncomfortable. He was God born as a human being. He was God going through everything that we go through. I think you'd agree with me that that's like humility right there. And we see so much of Christ and him having compassion for people. We see so much of him having putting people first. The Bible also tells us that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So it's not like we were these shining people, we were these all perfect people that he came to die for, but we weren't complete. We were still messed up. We still needed we needed a lot of work, as we still do, but Christ still died for us. He didn't look at these people that are perfect and these people that have everything put together. But he died for us while we were still sinners, while we were still in filth, if I can put it like that. So what is that? What caused that to happen? I think what caused that to happen is love. The love that God had for us made him die on the cross, send his son to come and die on the cross. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son. He gave his only, meaning that he gave his best. He gave his best. It was a sacrifice, if I can put it like that. It was a sacrifice. And so much of our lives have to be sacrificial. So much of our lives we are told that it has to be sacrificial. And I look at that, and this past weekend there was a movie, a Zambian movie being shown, and the movie is called I need to remember this, Can They See Us? And I saw that movie, and afterwards I went home and I was just thinking, and it was just going through my head. I kept on thinking about it the whole night. I was just thinking the whole night. Such that in the morning when I woke up, I was moved with compassion, and I did not know what was going on with me. I called my wife Louise, and I was like, "Look, I just want to share something with you." And I talked to her, explained a few things of how I was feeling, and I just broke down. I just started crying. And I was telling her, I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me." But what was that? I think in our conversation, and what we were talking about was, it had to do with, with artists and where they are, and just in Zambia in general, and how we're so focused. Everybody's so focused about, let me push my agenda. Let me not really like, yeah, pushing your agenda, because obviously you want to provide for your family, and everybody's busy doing business. Everybody's busy trying to earn a living and make some money and get stuff done. And I just felt like in that moment I was just feeling like, Lord, like we need to have compassion over other people, and just look at other people and help them up, and see how can we help each other as a community. And I just think that that's the whole gospel right there. That's the example that Christ gave for us. And we cannot afford to be selfish. We cannot afford to only be thinking about how is this going to benefit us. In everything that we do, I think we need to take a moment and just think about, how can I help my brother? How can I help my sister? How can I help this person who's doing this? And see how I can bring them up, because that's what it is right there. Like, that's community. And one of the words that I've been thinking about this past week has just been support system. The word has been support, two words actually, support system. And I've been thinking, like, I never heard of that word before. Like, I never even thought that, you needed to be like very purposeful about who you surround yourself with. I always just thought, growing up, some of us, it was just, solo. You're just going solo. It's all about you. It's all about your family. My parents were very, very conscious about not being embarrassed in the neighborhood. So it was like, let's fix ourselves. But it wasn't so much about, let's think about what about our neighbor? When something happens to our neighbor, like, how do we help them? What's going on with them? How can we reach out to them? It wasn't so much about that. It was so much about, let's fix us. And growing up like that, it does something to you. So I want to encourage you. And I know different people have different ways in which they've grown up. And I think most of you can relate with what I'm talking about. We have been, we've grown up in situations where we are programmed to, if I can use that word, to think about our needs first. And that's just the way a human being works. It's not just in our country, but I think it's across the world. That's just the way things work. But I'm encouraging you to follow Christ's example. Have compassion for others. Think about how you can help others. It's not just about us. In whatever we do in our businesses, if you're running a business, it's not just about you. It's about looking at others and how can you help them, or how can you learn from others. And coming back to the support system, two words that I'm talking about. Surround yourself with people who are farther along from you, who have done what you've done, and you can ask them. But most importantly, and then have peers, people that are on the same level as you are, that you can talk to them. But most importantly, have people that are coming up under you, that you have seen and can help come up to where you are. I think that's very, very important, because if we do that, then we're building this community that will keep on giving and growing together. It's by doing that we will have all these things that we want to see happen in our country. Like I watched that show and that movie, and I was thinking, Lord, like, I wonder what support system these guys have, like the artists, like how are they getting trained? Is somebody looking at them? Is somebody doing this? And even in churches that we look at, people want to get married, and you're thinking, okay, where are they getting their support from? Like, who's telling them that how marriage is, who's walking the path with them to help them, like get them ready for the step that they want to take. It's not enough just to have one class or 6 classes of premarital before you get married. You need that one person that's going to walk with you. And how are we going to do that? It's people who are married and have a healthy marriage looking down. Let's not wait. This thing of, I'm just going to say it, but I've heard it said that some, and it's not all the older folk, that they want to be approached. I think there's an aspect where young people will go to the older people and seek for advice, if I can say it like that. But I think 90%, that should just be like maybe 20% of that. 80% should be older people who are farther along, reaching down and looking down and bringing along others who are coming up. They should do that. We should do that. And let's not leave it for, no, these young people, they don't want to ask. No, you older folk are selfish. You are selfish. You need to follow Christ's example and look at the young people that are coming and help them. That's what we need to do. And we need to change that, because our community is slowly just, we're isolated. Everybody's doing their own thing. Young people are going this side, older people are going this side, and older people are looking down and saying, these young people, what are they doing? It's all messed up. And we need to bring our communities together. We need to stop being selfish, and we need to look at each other with compassion like Christ did, and follow Christ's example, that we can build each other up. And I think that's very, 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 very important and key. Christ gave us the example. We cannot afford to be selfish. We cannot afford to be selfish. Think about others. And let me just, I can ask you, like, when was the last time that, you had somebody call you randomly and just say, hey, I just, I've seen what you're doing. I want to walk alongside you and I want to help you. Somebody who's further along from you. Tell us in the comments when that last happened. What do you think? Does that happen now? Maybe I'm just ranting about something. That's okay. And if you have a different opinion, if you feel like, well, that happens all the time, please share in the comments. But I'd like to hear from you guys, because this is so big in my heart, and I feel like there needs to be a change. Worship doesn't happen without love. Love is important. Love is important. Christ came because of love. Christ died because of love. Christ forgives. Christ provides because of love. That is very, very important. We need to love one another. We need to love one another. Love one another so much that we can have compassion over each other, compassion towards each other, and that's very, very key. So I'm really just trying to encourage you again that let us think about others. Let us live lives that are focused on, what can I do for others? What can I do for my brother? How can I help my brother? And not because you're being prideful, not in a prideful way, and not in a way that, oh, me, I'm here now, no, I can do things, whatever. Not like that. It's out of a heart, a compassionate heart. It's out of a heart that has seen a need and wants to help. And that's where we need to get to. No hidden agendas. If you make it and you're big in what you're doing, you're a big time worship leader, you're a big time pastor, you've got a big church, or you're a big time businessman, look down and see who's coming and how can I help them. That is very, very key. And I feel like in our culture and in our communities, we're missing that. And that needs to start happening. It needs to start happening. So yeah, I just thought I encourage you with that today. So thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.